Some of them that will be coming up, but you're watching right now live on our screen. The ANC in the Northern Cape, where they are launching their provincial interaction with their members in terms of a manifesto that they launched earlier, but also anticipation in Soshanguve at the Giant Stadium, where EFF leader Julius Malema is expected any moment now, specifically around 12 noon, but obviously we'll keep watching to see exactly what time he comes out to come and outline to his supporters the message that he has for the upcoming election. We've seen so far, we heard from their deputy SG that their biggest emphasis was on creation of jobs and bringing back the land. And we're joined here in studio by John Lulu, who continues to look at the differences. And let's continue again, John. I know we've had this discussion already, but for the benefit of a person who wasn't watching earlier, just a comparison of what's come out of the ANC manifesto as opposed to the emphasis of the EFF.
The language and the posture and the symbolism of going to a township like Soshanguve, that's the first thing. I don't know if you saw, the ANC one was launched in a city, the city of eThekwini, 2 weeks ago. And the ANC's manifesto builds up on the last 25 years. It says much was done in the last 25 years, but more still needs to be done. The EFF sort of distances itself from the last 25 years and only talks about its achievements over the last 5 or 6 years since it was formed. And the sense of agency. It's trying to communicate a message of a radical posture that says we want our land now, we want jobs now, and it is not nuancing the message around jobs. If you look at the ANC manifesto, it's got nuances about decent jobs, and it talks about other things such as the fourth industrial revolution. The EFF says work, and they are very direct about talking about those jobs, that everything, every service, public service that needs to be done by government needs to be insourced to government.
That sense of urgency, is it correct to assume that that's where we are? As you said, the ANC is working on, has an incremental view of saying we've come so far, we can still go further.
I think they are right to that extent, to create a sense of an emergency in the country. The country is in an emergency situation. Joblessness, especially amongst the youth, inequality, corruption. You really have to have a sense of agency and sense of focus on those things. For the ANC, it is also understandable why they would want to claim the success of the last 25 years. And that they want to build on those without a radical departure, because they can't say, they can't announce a radical departure of the last 25 years and say we're changing direction. But there are new things. The land issue is new and is gaining quite a lot of traction from both parties, and jobs as well. They may differ on how these jobs have to be created, but it's the main focus of these two parties.
So Ramaphosa has said we are going to expropriate the land, but there will be some sort of conversation. The EFF feels otherwise. How is the EFF going to bring back the land?
Well, the EFF has got the advantage of being an opposition party. So it doesn't really have to implement all that it says. The way I see it, even though it's going to gain and increase its 6%, it will still not be an official opposition party. It will be one of the main opposition parties. So it's got the benefit of not having to implement any of its policy proposals. The ANC, on the other hand, has got the disadvantage of being the ruling party, and it will be retained, even though the numbers may not be as big as in the past or as they would like to have now. The ANC has got to implement all its resolutions, and it has to take care. It has to take all the stakeholders into account. We know the banks are very nervous about the issue of land expropriation without compensation. We know that the international investors are nervous about what this means to them. Because if you look at where we were almost a year ago this time, there was a lot of goodwill. There was a lot of excitement
towards
around the new
ANC leader. Yeah.
Towards the new ANC leader. However, this has not translated into new jobs. This has not translated into huge investor confidence, huge investment, direct investment.
So all those noises we heard coming out of the South African Investment Conference, that doesn't boost confidence enough?
It does boost confidence, but it's got limits. And the biggest damper to all of this has been the land issue. The fact that it's not been decisively dealt with, it's been mishandled elsewhere. There's quite a lot of processes that are going at the same time. You've had the parliamentary hearings, the public hearings. You've had now there's a panel of experts on that. All of this is increasing uncertainty instead of reducing it.
We have two stories happening parallel in the Northern Cape. The African National Congress is going to the provinces to unpack its manifesto. And here in Gauteng, the EFF is launching its manifesto. You can see on our screens both events. But if you miss them on the screens and you're not at home, perhaps you're able to watch them on your devices because we're streaming live. And John, we might not be able to come back to our analysis because we have to go back to Pretoria right now. And after that, there is a potential that the EFF CIC, Julius Malema, might be taking the stand. Just your sense going to the elections, the EFF is fighting on both fronts. On the one hand, it wants to unseat the ANC. On the other hand, it wants to unseat the DA from being the second largest opposition in the country. Which is the way to go? Is it a clever thing to be fighting on both sides?
I think the EFF, what it has done now through the manifesto is to choose a path. It has chosen a path of ignoring the DA. It has chosen the path of ignoring COPE and other parties, the smaller parties. It has defined its enemy, core enemy, as the ANC.
Yes.
And to that extent, I think it provides a clearer message. Okay, just
hold on to that thought. We have to go to the Northern Cape, where the country president, but also today in his capacity as the president of the ANC, has just taken to the podium. Let's go there live.
Forward with the Northern Cape, forward. Forward with the Northern Cape, forward. Hey, Nelson Mandela, hey, ta. Hey, ta Albertina Sisulu, hey, ta. Long live the spirit of Joe Slovo, long live. Long live the spirit of Mama Mitas Perepere, long live. Manta. Dumela, Sanbona, Fuyamore, Abshe, Dimachero, comrades, program director, the chairperson of our province, here in the Northern Cape, Comrade Samani Soul, members of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC, leaders of our alliance partners, the South African Communist Party, COSATU and SANCO, leadership of all the leagues of our movement, the ANC Women's League, the ANC Youth League, the ANC Veterans League, and yes, the leaders of our movement at national level, members of the National Executive Committee who have been deployed here in this province, and others who are also here, and leaders of various formations, religious leaders, as in faith-based organizations, traditional leaders, business leaders, community-based leaders, comrades and friends, and distinguished guests. It is indeed an absolute pleasure to be here in the province of Sol Plaatje, Khosi Galeshewe, and Me Francis Bart, Me Mita Siperepere, and many other leaders, giants of our struggle. Precies 3 weke gelede, ons was in die provincie van KwaZulu-Natal om te merk en om te vier die 107 jaar herdenking van die African National Congress. Op daardie dag, net soos vandag, ons mense het ingekom en hulle nommers en groepies om hulle ondersteuning en liefde vir hulle beweging en die tradisionele politieke huis kom wys en demonstreer. Julle is ook hier vandag om te kom wys dat die ANC as julle huis, that the ANC is your home, and that many of you have no other home than the African National Congress. As we celebrate 107 years of the ANC, we also use the occasion to remember what the first president of the African National Congress said, Reverend John Witbooi. He said, "Oh, how I long for that day when the darkness and the gloom will have passed and the sunshine of a new civilization shall rise upon a land that is teeming with commerce, where upon every hilltop shall be seen the schoolhouse and the church. Then indeed will Africa be a nation amongst nations." That is what Reverend John Witbooi said. And as we celebrate this very important day when the African National Congress was formed, and here in the Northern Cape, we are pleased to know that the Northern Cape is the home of the African National Congress. Re thabile gagolo go itse gore province ena ya rona ya Northern Cape ke legae la African National Congress. Ke legae tota la African National Congress. African National Congress e robala honafa, e tsoga honafa, e tsamaya honafa, e sebetsa honafa, ke mo e dulang teng. Ha ke le shebile kaofela lona, ke a bona ka nnete gore ka nnete le bana ba African National Congress. The ANC is indeed the oldest liberation movement on the continent of Africa, and possibly it is also the oldest liberation movement in the whole world. The ANC asimafikizo ayafihla maobane ke kgale e lefa go ba ga yona mo go bua gore ke kgale e phela ke kgale e hema e tlile ke kgale e sebeletsa setšhaba sa South Africa kaofela yona. It is old in terms of its unmatched political experience and wisdom. Yet the ANC is young in terms of its enviable energy. It is young in terms of its militancy, and it is also young in terms of its political will to act decisively to improve the living conditions of our people. Others talk about their wish to improve the lives of our people. The ANC talks about the experience that it has had in improving the lives of our people. We can say today with no shadow of doubt that the Northern Cape as a province has indeed become a better place to live in for the majority of the people of the Northern Cape. The living conditions of our people here are better than they were in 1994. So our people here have seen great improvement. But we are the first to say much more work still needs to be done. We still need to do more work to fully improve the lives of our people. Since our Nasrec conference, we have done a lot to bring the ANC closer to the people. We have been doing much to make sure that the ANC does indeed reconnect with the people of our country in the various provinces, in the villages, in the townships, in the metro cities, in the big cities, in the small towns, and throughout the length and the breadth of our country. And through our Tuma Mina campaign, which has been so well embraced by many South Africans, we have reached out to our communities, demonstrating the ANC's commitment to improve the lives of all the people of South Africa. Our public representatives and branch members are working hard on a daily basis to ensure greater consultation and engagement with communities on issues that affect their lives. We have also made an undertaking that this kind of interaction will cease to be seasonal, but will instead form part of how we generally relate to our people moving forward. Because the campaign that has caught the hearts and the minds of our people, Tuma Mina, is generating a lot of interest. This morning, at 5:30 in the morning, I had occasion to join a number of people of Kimberley who had invited me just to be there to set them off on a marathon. And as I stood there with them, They said, President, all of us here, we are running to make sure that Tumamina becomes a reality. They said we are running because we want our country to be successful and to succeed at everything that we do. So the ANC is working very hard as we launch this manifesto to reconnect with our people. And in fact, our manifesto is about calling on all South Africans to join hands and work together to make sure that we grow South Africa. We are here about growing South Africa, and we are calling on all South Africans that we must work together to grow the economy of our country, to grow our nation, to make sure that our people do indeed get the best that life has to offer. Through our manifesto, we have unveiled a new chapter to eradicate the triple challenge of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. In the previous years, we took advantage of the positive optimism that heralded a new dawn for us as a country post-Nasrec conference. In this past year, we got a good sense that there was a new spirit that was spreading throughout our country. And we believe that South Africans are taking advantage of that to say they want to see the country moving forward. We've done a lot of things to address some of the challenges that our people face. We know that one of the big challenges is that many of our people are not working. Many of our people are unemployed. Batho ba bantsi ba rona abana ditiro. Abantu abaninzi bethu abaphangeli okwangoku. Ngakumbi abo abatsha. Abantu abaninzi abatsha abanayo imisebenzi. Angithi kunjalo. Siyayazi loo nto ukuthi abantu abaninzi abaphangeli. Now we have made unemployment a key area of focus. And it is for that reason that we've been mobilizing investments to come to our country from both local investors as well as offshore investors to come here to South Africa and open up factories, and open up mines, and open up a number of other businesses so that we can create jobs. Just last week, I was in India with a number of our ministers. We had gone there to celebrate the Republic Day of India, but we also used the opportunity to begin to mobilize for investments to come to South Africa. We were very pleased when a number of investors we met there said to us they have their eye on the Northern Cape. They said to us they want to come and invest here in the Northern Cape. We encouraged them. We said, yes, it is the Northern Cape that we want you to come and open up mines here in the Northern Cape. Because the Northern Cape, you have many mines, you have many mineral resources, and those mineral resources in the new era that we are in now need to be exploited, not for the benefit of the few, but for the benefit of our people as a whole. We want the natural resource that you have, the sun, to also be exploited for the benefit of the people of the Northern Cape. When we come to renewable energy sources, the Northern Cape is the capital of renewable energy. And I would say in the whole world, you've got more solar energy plants in the Northern Cape than many other places indeed in the world. And we want that resource to be used for the benefit of the economy of the Northern Cape and for the benefit of the people of the Northern Cape. Last year we hosted the Job Summit that agreed on many measures that we need to undertake to create jobs, but also to protect existing jobs. We have undertaken to ensure that those measures that were identified are implemented so that the people of the Northern Cape can also benefit from the various interventions that we are going to embark upon to increase investment here in the Northern Cape and generate more jobs. Comrade Zamani Saul is right in saying my focus is also now going to be on how we can ensure that there is economic growth here in the Northern Cape. Because you have, as the Northern Cape, the most people who are unemployed in South Africa. And we are going to work very hard to make sure that we identify a number of initiatives that are going.
The president of the African National Congress, Cyril Ramaphosa, going to the Northern Cape in Galeshewe, where he is pleading with the ANC supporters there to bring them back into government, and continuing on the thread of economic recovery and talking about the kind of things that they will do. We're just going to cross back to the official launch of the Economic Freedom Fighters, but just to let my analyst go, John Lulu, who's been with me for most of the morning. Your final thoughts as we go to the official program of the EF.